It's the UK School Games, and 1,500 of the country's most gifted young athletes have gathered together to compete in an event that will showcase their talent.
So the UK School Games were created with the idea of being a pinnacle event. What's fantastic to see at events like this is the way that young people don't distinguish at all between those with a disability and those without a disability. They're kind of all in this together. They're all elite level athletes. They're all the very, very best athletes in the United Kingdom.
Each young athlete has a dream of competing at the Olympics in 2012. And the upcoming events are a crucial step on the long road towards qualification. Last time, 15-year-old Michael Reeve just missed qualifying for Beijing by 5 seconds.
Fingers crossed we'll see him on the podium in 2012 in London.
It's just extraordinary, like, to go out there and have so many people looking at you and clapping for you when you're walking around. With all the lights going as well, it's made it very special.
The Games will be another chance for Michael to improve his personal best time. 3 years ago, Michael was unable to swim, but then got talent spotted by veteran disability swimming coach Jill Stidova.
Not quite so good, but you glided just that slightly. What I keep in mind very much is keeping his concentration on the activity, and particularly because Michael is visually impaired, he's registered blind in fact. I find it very difficult myself, and I did find it even more difficult when I started working with him, because he doesn't look at you. He doesn't, you think you're talking to a brick wall, and then he goes off and does exactly what you've asked him. I want to see your legs moving. Go!
Well, I was just waddling along, trying to swim. I think a lot of the coaches describe me as a dying duck. And Jill approached me and says I could make a really good swimmer. Obviously not believing her because I couldn't swim.
He was a swimmer who could just about do 2 lengths. When I say just about do 2 lengths, he could do 2 lengths, but it certainly wasn't what you would call swimming. He obviously was trying his hardest, but had got no stroke technique, and he needed to be taught. Kick straight out of your turn, and then you got the angle wrong. I asked him if he was interested in learning to swim more, and he said he was, and I said, well, it's a whole family thing. Your parents have got to want you to do it, you've got to want to, but if you want to, I'm willing to help you, and you could come and join our club. And that's literally what he did. His parents have supported him.
Push out, Michael.
Come on, like this.
Hi. The kid's getting quite a lot of trouble. I mean, we've known him to get into trouble, not with the police or anything, because we found out and stopped it. A lot of his friends now that he used to go around with are all in trouble with the police. They run riots around the estate, they cause a lot of trouble. Michael has took himself away from that situation, and is starting to make things with his life.
You hear of kids his age, they go out celebrating because they've just got an ASBO. I mean, it's a street cred to have an ASBO. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, I wouldn't. Any of my kids got into trouble.
They'd know about it.
They would know desperately. I like to think that the kids know that they know where the boundaries are. You know, when they get old, when he gets to 18, 19, he wants to go out for a drink. He's old enough, he can go out for a drink. But like now, he knows it's not acceptable now. He wouldn't do it.
These are some of my certificates. I've got some of them folded downstairs. 3 years ago, I was very close to becoming a hoodie, getting into trouble on the streets. But I think having something to go for and knowing that you can actually do something better than just dossing around the streets changed me from getting off the streets to getting in the pool. 100% me.
I mean, he's a typical teenager sometimes, you know when we get the back chat and everything else and the stroppiness. But, I look at some of the teenagers now and he is nothing, nowhere near par in them. I'm just hoping he's going the right way in life, and I think he will. He's got his head screwed on.
We're all interested in sport because we're all outside kids. My oldest brother, Ben and James, they've played rugby for teams. My older sister, Lorette, has done football for teams. My sister who's at work now, she's done the RAF cadets. Just sporty people.
They've all got something special in their own way, and, I'm just glad when it's bedtime some nights. But, they are an enjoyment, even though they're hard work.
1, 2, 1, stop. 1, 2.
Well, Will is the youngest, and he's very much into boxing. He trains twice a week. Quite a lot of potential with him.
1, 2. 1, 2. 4.
I miss it then.
I trained as a boxer when I was a kid, just a general gym train out, and so I know what needs to be done. And then the club that he goes to, I slowly got involved bit by bit. Keep going. Fast as you can, bro. The coach that trains him says he got a punch at the age of a 16-year-old, and it'd been hard to see him in the Olympics after the 2012 one. He could quite make it easily. So that is an option and an aim to go for. So hopefully I can get Michael into it as well, which will make him a lot stronger in the water. Sometimes you've got to give them a push. Sometimes kids get fed up, like Michael, he got to a stage where he wasn't improving. He was having a growth spurt, he was going through puberty. That short period of time where he was growing and he wasn't improving, we were having to push him to carry on. 18, 19, 20, 21.
If he wants it, he's got to work for it. And he realises that now in his own mind. Nothing comes without, work and effort.
25.
He's not going nowhere.
27. 28.
I normally only do the sit-ups because that works on my core. I normally go gym on a Monday night and do the same kind of things. But William does it every night with him.
3, 4, 5. I think it's important to have a goal in life. If you've got an aim to focus on, they're not out and about running right around the streets. So, like Michael, he trains quite a lot. I mean, you just take a lot of time up. We just take a lot of family time up, and it's the family around that has to cope with his training.
What bag is in the car?
I've got a drink bottle.
Drinks in the bag. Because I've sorted it again on bed.
Chase, where's my shoes?
I wanted to go around my nana's tonight and I can't now because my mum has to take Michael swimming. So that's it.
He starts at 8:30, we get him there for about 8:10, and then he'll come in, he'll have a cup of coffee, then he's got to go all the way back to them to pick him up, and it's like 10:10, 20 to 11 before he's been, able to sit down and what have you, so it's a full-time job. I suspected when I first had him, I'd seen albinisms. There was a family near us when we were growing up, and these people have got white hair, and they've got a couple of little kids, and they've all got white hair, and they all wore glasses. And when I had Michael, I said to the midwife, is this baby an albino? So she says, don't talk so stupid. And I left it at that. He got a flock of white hair when he was born. But as, the first few weeks of his life, I noticed that his eyes wasn't quite right. And I kept saying, to various people, there's something wrong with these kids, this baby's eyes. And I had my health visitor out and she did all these different tests. No, he's fine. It's just you being paranoid. Anyway, when we went for his 6-week check, I had my postnatal and he went off into the room with the doctor and a health visitor. Doctor said to me, he said, are you still worried about this baby's eye? So I said, yeah, I am. I said, there's something not right. I said, I've got other children and none of them have ever been like him. And the doctor said to me, you know, eventually he's going to have to be registered visually impaired. And I said, well, you know, cut about, if it's going to happen, do it now, you know. And that's what happened. And, you know, he's had a lot of outside help. From the age of about 2 or 3, he had a teacher from the visually impaired come to see him at home, you know, to try and stimulate him a bit more. But other than that, you know, he has regular eye checks and what have you. But like I say, from day one, I knew there was something not quite right. The thing is with Michael, I've let him lead the life of a normal child. I've never put him in the corner and says, oh, you can't do that, it's dangerous. The only thing I do worry about is when he crosses roads. But we've just let him be a child. We've let him play in the garden, we've let him rough and tumble with the other kids. And I think a lot of that has brought him on as well, because I've not, you know, Michael could be a child that was the other way, that sat in a corner and never spoke, and, you know, and he wouldn't have a life. He wouldn't have a life at all.
This little thing here is the difference between Michael doing a nice turn or going to hospital because he hits the pool. He's okay during a slow swim. He's perfectly able to manage. In a fast swim, his stroke times change, but therefore he needs to be tapped so he knows to turn. Which, he has had a few accidents. He has been missed a few times, but 99.9% of the time we catch him. If he knows who it is and he knows he's going to get tapped, he'll go hell for leather. To see what he was to what he is now, it was just like that. His head was above the water and his hands were going like that, and that's all you could see. You know, he was just bobbing around. She said she could see potential in him. She's took him under her wing. And she's worked really hard with him and he's really coming on.
I think the thing you need to look for is this wanting to do well, wanting to succeed, and in particular, it's almost a little gleam in their eye. I've succeeded, I've done that, but come on, what's the next thing I need to do to get even better? And that's what I saw in Michael. He obviously was trying his hardest. You went straight in and you were right